Hi Ladybridge parents and carers, this is confirmation of what we're going to do with year 7 following the second positive case that we had over the weekend. After discussions with Bolton Public Health today, the decision has been made that we will need to close the year 7 bubble and the year group will need to self-isolate until Thursday the 15th, Thursday the 15th of October. So that's a week on Thursday. And I'm really, really sorry that this is the case. It's with a truly heavy heart that we've made the decision. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. The reason for it is that obviously we've had 2 cases in the same year group. They're also in the same class. So that increases the probability that there's been some in-school transmission. Obviously, we don't know that for certain. It's impossible for us to know that. The learner who's just tested positive has a really wide social circle, and there's also some degree of uncertainty regarding their close contacts. So we've had discussions today with him and friends of his and various parents, and we don't have absolute confidence that we have an accurate small list of close contacts that we can identify. It's quite a large number and there's some uncertainty over that list. Importantly as well, we have 2 learners, as I mentioned on Saturday, that we're waiting for the test results back for. And they both have symptoms. So they're both in year 7, they both have symptoms. And one of these is a good friend and a definite close contact of the learner who's just tested positive. And the other learner is in the same form as that learner. So that suggests, again, we don't know for definite, but it suggests that there could have been in-school transmission and there's a link between these cases. The second case learner, so the learner who's just tested positive mixed with other year 7s from another class. So we know that his class definitely needs to self-isolate, and we phoned all of those families over the weekend, but he mixed with other learners on the Thursday morning during PE. So that again opens up other contact there. And then we know there's a lot of contact between the year 7s on the farm, which is lovely that they get to spend the time on the farm over break and dinner. But at times, learners do get quite close to each other on the farm. And that's something when year 7s return to school that we need to maybe have a look at and consider really reducing the access to the farm, sadly, because they love it there. And it's such a shame. And yeah, it's such a shame, but we might need to have a look at that. But we know that this particular learner who's tested positive spends a fair bit of time on the farm, mixes a lot with other learners. So this is very, very different to the case that we had on Thursday, where we were able to quite confidently use a track and trace process. With this case, and with the combination of this being in the same year group as the last case, there's just too much uncertainty. You can tell from what I'm saying here, there's a lot of uncertainty, which means that we cannot confidently identify a small number of close contacts that self-isolate, which would then enable everyone else to come back to school. Yeah, and all of these doubts and uncertainties raises the possibility that the virus has transmitted to other year 7 learners. So to bring those learners back into school, there's too much of a risk to year 7 families. So not just the learners themselves. We know the risks for young people, the vulnerability for young people in general is low, but the risk to older family members is much, much higher. And of course, the risk to staff as well. And then of course, to other year groups. So it's just too much of a risk. It's too much of a risk. You know about all the contacts there. So we've got these new email addresses that you can use. And just to say finally, this is with such a heavy heart, as I said at the start of the message. Year 7 have been amazing since he joined us. It's been wonderful to have them in school. They've been an absolute joy. And I still think they've made a brilliant start, even with all of this disruption. And we will keep exploring and thinking and investigating and considering what we can do to reduce the amount of disruption during this year. Obviously, there's lots of stuff that's out of our control, but we're thinking about what can we do to go about things in a more controlled way, where as a school and for you as parents, you can plan for things a bit better. Because at the moment, we're having to react to the circumstances far more than any of us would like. And I know, as well, as a parent of a learner in year 7, that you know, with a child in year 7, the year 7s, obviously, they're the youngest children, they're the least likely in the school to be able to look after themselves well from home. So this, again, is the last thing that we want to do, but we've got to do what we've got to do to keep people safe, and it's too much of a risk to get the majority of year 7 back and to just identify and to isolate close contacts. Please do get in touch if you've got any questions. Questions are not a problem at all. Let's continue, as I always say, to work with each other together as a team. Thank you, everyone. I will be in touch again soon. Thank you.